Okay, song number 10, Constantinople. Is that how I'm
Yeah,
supposed to say it? Because I feel like it varies based on language.
it does vary based on language. I mean, this thing is written in English, so it is Constantinople. I'm Greek, so it's
Mhm.
Constantinople.
Mhm.
But whatever.
All right. We're just gonna roll in. Are you ready?
No.
Your marks for change and equality, as long as your peers are in the crowd. Keep explaining reality, limit your friends to those who agree. Discriminate instinctively,
Ha!
never forget what you can breathe. Claiming a race actually exists, never question or fact check beliefs. Rodrigo.
Rodrigo is great.
Yay!
And there's the meeting done. The change when it slowed tempo down at the end.
Yeah.
Is from a previous 8 Lives Down song, or feels like it. It feels like it's something from Y. Just before time is always on our side. Is it? Is it just similar? Is it intentional?
It's similar. Yeah.
Okay, it's very similar.
Yeah. It's intentional.
Okay, so it is intentional to make something similar to that song, but you didn't do it the same. I don't know if I should ask what does that mean, or if we have to go through the song first to get context around it. So I'll just ask, and if it requires context, give me the context as well.
No, it's more of a pattern choice in terms of wanting the same emotional effect and wanting things to sit more slowly and more heavily. Fun.
And then if someone who's heard already the previous album knows that song and knows the emotional space of that song, they're not only going to respond to how this song feels, but they're also going to be reminded of that, and it's like a double effect.
Yeah.
Okay, that's really nice. So there isn't exactly a conceptual connection of any sort.
Not per se, no.
Okay. The way the song starts, very atmospheric, kind of sleepy, and then it's cut straight into like brutal aggression. What's up with that?
So I asked Paul for a lot of intros on this album. And the intro to Constantinople is my favorite one because for some reason, whatever, it reminds me of Sabotage, who are my favorite band. So like, which tells you also at the same time comedically how far away we are sonically from my favorite band, but whatever. Still, I'm like, hell yeah. Well, we wanted the song to start with a headbutt. Kind of like the way that the vocal from Opening Shot starts, where it's just like, right in your face. But the problem is that if it just starts with, it's like, well, yeah, but in relation to what? So we're like, in relation to this. And then Velociraptor, and you can be weird. But yeah.
So it's just, you get someone soft, then the whack is gonna feel so much harder.
Yes.
Okay. First verse seems to pick on people having their worldviews and beliefs that they fight for more defined by their sense of belonging to a crowd than by what they actually think.
Yeah.
I feel like for most of these, the question for me is why. So I keep being reminded of that song. Do you think that's the main motivator behind how people form their beliefs, or
yes,
just one? Yes.
Yes, I think that if people are able to adopt their parents' beliefs, they will. I think one needs to really, really, really disagree with what one's parents believe in order to actually not take on their beliefs. So because you benefit so much from believing what they believe.
So for example, if your parent is homophobic and you're gay, it's kind of impossible for you to take on their beliefs because it means you have to die.
One would hope. Because a lot of people do internalize it and do take it on, but Yeah, as in there needs to be quite a severe degree of dissonance before people will step out from the group. Because it's very risky behavior to step out from the group. I mean, you want to be with the group. And you want the group to not abandon you in the night. And you also don't want them to stone you.
I am generally aware of the fact that I do this and I constantly challenge myself.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't say I've ever been at a point where my beliefs are formed independently of the group. I also don't know if that would necessarily be preferable, although doing it in connection to the group distorts your beliefs from the facts.
Yeah.
What's the great idea? This part comes 3 times, what's the great idea part. And the 3rd time it comes, the instrumentation is more open, like half time on the accents and everything. Why? Why slow it down the 3rd time?
So, if we're being hyper nerdy, we didn't slow it down.
I know, but you know what I mean. Like, it's the same tempo.
But but if we're being hyper nerdy, we didn't slow it down. It is the guitar solo that is outside tempo of the entire song. The guitar solo is sped up to an irrelevant tempo to the rest of the entire song.
Wait, I was convinced that the accents on 3rd time actually came double time, like half time.
No, it's just the guitar solo is stupidly fast. Because we were looking at the song, and we were like, oh, you know what we should do? We should just totally fuck up the tempo to make life miserable for all of us. But that's what we should do.
That was so effective. I actually thought that is the chorus, right?
Yeah, it is.
I actually thought the 3rd chorus was done differently.
I know, isn't it great?
It worked.
I know. Fun.
2nd verse. You'll vote without any knowledge of the ideas and policies. History's bet is always right. Victors decide the exact light. Heads high, believe you cannot die. I feel like this is essentially histories written by the winners.
Oh, yeah.
What are your thoughts on how and if this problem can be fixed?
We would need to change our perception of war entirely. Our perception of war is coming from a very, let's say, medieval foundation, with the whole, the sovereign king of my nation was placed in a position of power by God, therefore he is God's chosen one, so if he takes us to war, he is inherently right, and everything that is written on our behalf is correct, and we're always correct. Self-righteousness, good versus bad, and so war is then also framed in the context of good and bad. And whenever war occurs, humans have this tendency to put in effort to try and find out who's good and bad in the equation. And it's like, what are you doing? What are you doing, you dumb morons? They're just, so yeah. And hi.
There's my favorite TV series ever is called The Expanse. If it's written after the books, The Expanse. Do you know it?
I am aware of its existence. I have not seen it.
I have not read the books, but I have seen the TV series, which makes me feel as uncultured as I am. And there is one line that I really like that's said by a soldier. So there's a sci-fi sort of futuristic context where humanity is spread out through the solar system, and one nation is Mars and another nation is like Earth with the moon. And there's like this line from a Martian soldier who was bred in believing in the dream of Mars, and after some developments and by some complex situations ending up thinking for herself, at some point she says something like, I've realized that in war the biggest challenge is realizing who the enemy actually is. Yeah. And that is one of my favorite quotes from any piece of art ever. I feel like if humanity by large managed to internalize that the damage done by the phenomenon of war, whatever exactly it is, would reduce dramatically.
Yeah. Yeah. And I feel like we're in a darker, more backwards phase of the process, in the sense that it was very, very, very poorly and very insignificantly getting microscopically better. Like the wars, let's say, that occur in the 1500s are quite different to the ones that occur in the 1700s, quite different that occur to the ones in the 1800s. And it's kind of escalating. And then World War I is like this semi-peak where you're like, oh, this is shit with a capital S.
Yeah.
Like capital S shit. Like this is the lowest of lows is World War I. And then World War II happens. And suddenly you're absolutely back to the complete bullshit of these people are bad. Everything we do is good. We're going to have complete binary black and white thinking. Duh. And it's like, and we've followed that ever since. And we've taught that acutely. Like the post-World War II narrative is so strong. So strong. It's so strong that they managed to build an entire narrative, right, where they pretended that art was politically independent, which it never was historically, never has been, and certainly was not in the build-up to World War II. And loads of really good art and really good artists were pro the side that people don't like in terms of just average majority. But that all after World War II got completely whitewashed. And no one knows about it. No one knows about them. Except for like one or two artists that undeniably are pro that side. And so then their work gets ignored, which is... Let's not talk about the ways in which that sent art back in quality massively, because you're like, why would you ignore such good art? Oh my god, can't we just like not agree with the belief system but be like, oh, that's a great camera angle, we should do more of that? Yeah
and people, I feel like the way people have conversations on separating the artist from the art is done at a very, very, very low level.
It is. Because I think it is extremely important to separate the artist from the art, in the same way that it is extremely important to separate your own interpretation and yourself from the artist and the art, and be able to hold your own interpretation and say, well, I experience and interpret it this way, and that's just the way that I happen to experience it. The artist did not intend it that way.
Yeah.
Like, it's fine!
But there are so many pieces of art where I know the artist didn't intend it the way I experienced it, and I experienced it the way I experienced it.
I know! And it makes it more fun and better. Yeah. But yeah, so there's a lot of that, but we did a lot of whitewashing, and we reinforced the whole idea of good and bad, which is why, you know, like I don't know, you look at, let's say, Disney's Snow White, released in the 30s, and you're like, okay, so we're like just between World War I and World War II is about to begin any minute now. And it's like, okay, so we've got like this, we still have some weird idealistic ideas of, oh my god, when you're young, you're innocent, where it's like, vomits in a bucket. But yes, as in, yes, legally.
At 2 years old, I was biting people.
Exactly. So yes, legally, in the sense of Yeah, you do not have the mental faculties, and your brain has not developed to the point where you can understand the abstract concept of laws and legalities. And based on that very simple notion of right and wrong, you can't make informed decisions. Sure, absolutely. Like, we're not going to be putting loads of children in prison, pretending that they're 100% culpable for all their actions, but at the same time pretending that they're innocent is taking away so much agency and pain from the people that are suffering from the shitty behavior of shitty children, who are mostly children, by the way. So, do you care about them? Yes or no? Yeah. It looks like no.
Yeah.
But anyway.
I feel like this particularly applies in bullying. Like, because the bully is a child that they shouldn't be held accountable for what they do.
Yeah.
And I'm like, children have died because of bullying.
Yeah.
How are you gonna overlook that?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and then, so you've got that, and you've got like this little period, but then after World War II, I mean, you get Cinderella, that's what you get. Mm-hmm. Like, it's even more rigid, it's even more, this is good, and all of this is bad, and like, it's even more black and white, and it's even crappier. And it's like, oh, great. And then our collective IQ just went down massively. But yeah. Ta-da!
The only black and white that we approve of with Aliki is the black and white color scheme.
Yes. So I think you would need to redefine war. You would need to try and stop viewing things through lenses of good and evil. Mm-hmm. Attribute the labels of like useful, destructive, whatever to certain behaviors. Mm-hmm. Not allow those behaviors and those events to wholly define the individual. Like, just because someone did something that is absolutely vomit-inducing and ghastly doesn't mean that they've never done anything good. That would be super convenient. And lose the kind of religious thinking around war and around good and bad, and then also sit within the self and reflect more on, number one, the fact that just because you're not wholly good and not everything that you've done is magic doesn't mean that you deserve to die. And you don't have to cling on so desperately to the idea that you are entirely good. And you can adjust things. And then also, oh, my brain. Trying to solve the world's problems 101. But get rid of that. And then the second thing would be, what is my brain grasping for? Understand that you are passively and actively responsible for everything that happens to all of us, in the sense that we pay taxes, we fund these armies, we fund the governments that make the decisions, we fund prisons, we actively support all these systems. Now, that doesn't make you a bad person, and it doesn't mean that you need to start not paying taxes or revolting or standing up against it. But you need to understand that these things are a system, and they're part of a complex system, and you are part of that system. And it doesn't matter the degree to which you're like going out on the streets and screaming and saying, I'm against this. You paid it. You funded it. Let's figure that out, and let's start having actual real conversations about that.
I think that's the first time I've gotten a take on how everyone is passively or actively a participant in this that wasn't shit.
Ah, yay.
Okay. Last lines: eliminate our point of view. We must never speak our own truth, I suppose, is reflecting the side of the defeated.
Yeah. One thing for you.
One thing for me.
/ two things for you. So, The song is called Constantinople.
Mm-hmm.
And the line, "What's the great idea?" is capitalized.
Mm-hmm.
As in, the great idea is capitalized.
Mm-hmm.
The reason it is capitalized is because you can Google the great idea.
Mm-hmm.
The great idea is a Greek political belief that is imperialistic and expansionist and mortifying, if we're being honest. It is the idea, it developed during the Greek Revolution and yada, yada, yada against the Ottoman Empire. And it was this idea that one day Greece will take back its land, which includes Constantinople. And Constantinople is like the massive, massive focal center of it, which of course is now in Istanbul. But so the Constantinople title is in reference to how archaic and old school and stupid the idea is. Not in support of the idea. The reason that I mention that is because, for context, what you might need to know is that this idea is taught in schools. And it's taught as this beautiful fairy tale thing.
In Greece?
And yes.
I think that's the worst thing I've heard about Greece ever since I've known of its existence.
Yeah.
That is horrible.
It is horrible. And if you talk to an average Greek, they don't perceive it as horrible. Like they can't zoom out and see it for what it is and understand the full implications of it. And instead of just saying, like, this is shit, that's why the chorus was really like, what's the great idea? Returning home with mass blood on your hands. Like, why? So yeah, ta-da, there you go.
Well, but I feel like this great idea is like, that's in Greece, but I feel like it's a fuel to so many wars, and it's been a fuel to so much. Just the idea that you're gonna take something that happened in the past and set it right by violently trying to take it back to what it was.
Yeah.
And then just the other side's just gonna do the same thing, one form or another.
I know.
Just continue this cycle of shit.
Yeah. And as if the other side doesn't have the same narrative of, oh, remember the good old days when we took that piece of land and then it was ours for a bajillion years and it was beautiful. It's like, maybe let's not.
I know you don't like Ginger, but they have a really good line. A hill of shit is played off as a stack of gold.
Yeah.
They have a really good line there.
It is. It is a good line.